welcome to the body manual. Today we'll be stretching our hamstrings. So you'll need maybe some blocks and a strap and a step. So if you have a step stool or some yoga blocks, a couple of yoga blocks, you can use those for this exercise. And if you have stairs at home, you can use a bottom step. So basically, we're going to stretch the back of the thigh. So what you want to do is you want your heel on the bottom step, and you just want your foot relaxed. You don't want your toes pointed up too high or down. So I'm just kind of making sure that my heel is on the step and my foot is pointed up, my knees pointed up. And I'm not gonna try to bend, at my back or my head and straighten my neck. What I want to do is I want my chest forward. So most of my weight is on the back leg. I'm holding on to the rail, I'm holding on to something stable if you have balance issues. So I would hold this for about 20 seconds for a couple of times each, twice a day. Some people will already feel the stretch in that sit bone or the ischial tuberosity. Some people might feel it there. Some people might actually also feel it on the calf muscles. So that's when you want to make sure that your foot is really relaxed and it's not pointed up. When you point your foot up or your toes up, it'll stretch some of the calf muscles. You can do that too, but I want to focus on the hamstrings today. So again, I'm not bending my neck. Another more advanced way to stretch this is by turning your hip in and out like this, okay? So what I want to do is I want to bring my chest forward and then turning my hip in and out, not just my foot. So it's coming from the hip. And when I do this, I'm actually stretching the inner, so my foot is pointed in, and I'm stretching the inner thigh more. And then as I roll my hip out, I'm stretching more laterally or the outer thigh. Same thing, just keeping my chest forward as I turn at my hip. So I usually do about 20 wipers, 20 sways, just like that. I can feel where I'm tighter, and also I feel different parts of my hamstrings getting stretched out, and even in some angles I feel it more in the ischial tuberosity. Just like that. So if you already feel it there, you don't even have to continue with the next one, but if you can, that would be great. Some people might already feel it because they're so tight. Just simply doing this, they already feel the stretch. You don't have to lean forward. If you already feel a stretch in this position, you can even lean backwards. So the key thing with this stretch is what people tend to do is when they put their foot forward or on the step, they tend to turn their hip forward. You don't want to do that, because when you turn your hip this way, you're actually putting your hamstrings in a slack. So remember, it's attached here, so that part of your hip or pelvis is moved forward. So then it's not really giving you a lot of benefit. So what you want to do is make sure that your hips are squared. That's the first thing. Because the first thing people do is they'll do this, and then they think they can stretch so much, right? But really, if you bring the hip back more, you'll feel the stretch even more, because you're pulling at the origin or where the hamstring begins. So what I like to do too is even kind of sit back a little bit, and you'll feel that even more. So be careful if you already have injuries there. It's just a good way to feel the stretch even more. That standing hamstring stretch can also be done in sitting. Find a chair, you're going to sit at the edge of it, and then you're going to make sure that your one foot is stretched, is flat, and the other one same positioning. You're not pointing up too high or relax to relax. You want to lean forward with your chest, And same thing, you can turn your hip side to side just like that. This is for people who have balance issues. This is what I would suggest. Okay, so that's that. And then also you can, if you can get on the floor, this is a good exercise or stretch for your hamstrings as well. And also you can also do this on the edge of the bed or just on the bed or on the couch. If you have a strap or it has to be something that's taut, or if you can use a towel, this would be a good way to assist you with stretching. So what you want to do is basically take one leg, straighten it out, and then you can, same thing, you can lean forward, and then you can also turn at the hip. And remember, I'm not trying to bend at my back. I'm hinging at my hip in this area, and then chest forward, and my head is neutral, or it should be neutral. Okay, just like that. So for this one, you want to make sure that your leg is straight out and not out this way. When you bring it, my hips are pointing this way and my leg is out this way. When you bring it this way, it stretches a different group of muscles, which is not wrong. You can also do that, but if you want to focus on the hamstrings, make sure that your hips are squared and your leg is forward. Okay? Hold it for about 20 seconds, a couple times each leg. If that's too difficult, some people might have problems with even trying to sit, L-sit. So what you can do too is you can lean on your hands. Some people really have tight hamstrings, so this is what I would suggest people to do. Start off this way, and then as time goes on, you can lean forward more. Okay? So once you get into this L position, when you're able to do that, you can try to, I like to stretch one leg at a time. I don't like to stretch forward. Some people, you know, they want to like try to reach for their toes already, or their heels, but that you might feel this stretch more on the low back. So don't hurt yourself where you end up pulling your hamstrings. You want to listen to your body. So here I'm going to put the strap not on the toes part, but like maybe towards the arch, in the same level as the arch. And I'm going to keep my elbows close to my body, and I'm just going to gently pull. This leg can be out of the way. So I'm just going to gently pull as I lean forward, chest forward. Hold it for about 20 seconds. Okay. Same thing, you can turn at your hip. So it might be a little bit difficult to do that way. Okay, some people will be more flexible. So what you can do is maybe if you get a block, put your foot on the top, and then you're gonna use your hands to push you forward. And I'm trying to get my chest forward towards the knee. Same thing on this side. And then if it's too much for you, you can get a little bit of a bend at the knee first and slowly try to bend, or slowly try to straighten the knee. My left leg is a lot tighter than my right leg, and it's also a lot weaker than my right leg. So you'll notice the differences. Just like that, okay? And if you want more, you can do this. Stand up the block, just like that. So a lot of yoga people that I follow, you know, they don't start off, sometimes they'll start in the morning feeling stiff. They actually warm up first. They don't get into that position right away. And it's nice that they tell you that, because some people have a high expectation of yoga poses, and they think like they have to get that pose right away. But really, everyone works up to that, unless you started as a, unless you were a gymnast at a young age and you actually kept your flexibility, that's an exception. So just like that. So I'm trying to push my hands forward as I'm leaning my chest forward, okay? Another thing you can do is called, I think it's called the half split. We did a variation of that last time with the quads. But, so for the half split, if you can get on your knees, you'd want a yoga block or something stable on both sides, 2 chairs maybe. I'm using my other block for a stand for my camera, so I don't have that. So what you can do is get on your knees like this, or your knee, and then you're gonna straighten this out. Make sure your hips are squared, and then I would lean forward. So I'm using support, because when I don't, then I'm focusing more on balancing myself. But if I have support, then I'm focusing, I can feel the stretch even better on my hamstrings. Remember, ego is not your amigo. Just like that. And then I'm relaxing. I tend to tense up too, so just make sure that you check yourself before you wreck yourself. Just kidding. Some people don't expect me to say that, but keeping my neck neutral. And other people, what they do too is they'll get in and out of it, and they'll sit back. So that's another good way to do this. So it's more of a dynamic stretch. And they say, static stretches are not as good as dynamic stretches. There have been research to prove that. So this is a good way to stretch dynamically. So bend and straighten. Okay, there's one other one. Okay. So one suggestion, I know some people like me, I want to try to touch my knees with my forehead. That's been a long time goal for me. So something I would want to do is use a towel or a strap. So I'm trying to get myself into this position. So it's okay to stretch them both at the same time. But really, I've watched some videos about tutorials on how to do that. What they do is to do it safely. You don't want to get into that position right away, or work your way just kind of pushing your back forward. You actually want to engage your core muscles when you do that. So as you do that, you're trying to pull up and engage your core muscles, and your core muscles are the ones that are pulling you forward. It's not all about the back bend, okay? So do this safely. I'm not that flexible yet, but I'm teaching you what I know to be able to get there. So there are a lot of yoga videos that, and people that you can follow and that are really helpful in doing that. So you want to come up tall and then come forward using your core muscles. Okay, and what another tip that I saw was to actually try to get into this position already where your chest is touching your thigh. So I'm still in that neutral position. I'm not trying to bend my back. And then you can try to walk your heels forward. Just do what you can. And same thing, I'm engaging my muscles, my core muscles here as I come forward. As you breathe out, then you lean forward. So I haven't done this in a while. I haven't practiced yoga as consistently or as long as in a while, as long or in a while for as consistently in a while. So I was able to, but then I stopped for a while, so you can see how much difference it makes. You see how when I contract my abdominal muscles, I can go down farther. Just breathe out, and I got my abdominal muscles pulling me forward. If you feel it already, then you can come back and relax some more. So if you do that maybe even 10 minutes or 5 minutes a day, then you'll reach your goal. So if you have any questions about hamstring stretches, leave me a comment, send me a message, or email me, and I'll try to answer. Thank you.